Sometimes being a state government employee can be dangerous, especially if you're a state trooper or a CDOT employee trying to keep people safe on the road. But what happens to their families if they suddenly die? For one woman, she found out she lost health coverage the day before her husband's funeral. Lawmakers don't think that's right, and they're trying to do something about it at the state capitol. Here's Noel Brennan.
Recent tragedies have really brought to light, is the state doing all we can for the survivors of our fallen public employees?
6 fallen in 5 years.
We have had 6 employees in the last 5 years that have been killed on the job.
One was a CDOT worker.
My first month on the job 3 years ago, Dave Morris was killed in the line of duty, plowing snow on Monarch Pass.
Another,
Richard Roseman,
worked for the Department of Natural Resources.
And Thomas Clements.
One, the head of the Department of Corrections. The others were state troopers.
In the line of duty deaths of Trooper Taylor Tifo, Trooper Jamie Jersevics, and Trooper Cody Donahue.
The last thing on the mind of a widow like Velma Donahue
I felt like I was punched in the gut.
was health insurance.
6 days after he was killed, before we had his funeral, my daughter got sick. I took her to the doctor to be told that after 11 years, I have no health insurance.
A Senate bill with bipartisan support would extend medical and dental benefits for 1 year
This is a very important bill
to families of state employees who die on the job.
But this has to do with, CDOT workers and people in the forestry department, anyone that can be hurt in the line of duty doing their job.
Velma supports the bill that would have supported her family.
They've not only earned it, but they deserve it.
And all those of the fallen.
It brings such joy to our family to be able to help, because even though he's gone, in some ways he's still helping others.
For Next, I'm Noel Brennan.
And we got word the bill passed through the Senate committee this afternoon by a vote of 5-0. Now, one thing this bill would not do is extend medical benefits for county employees. That's something lawmakers are looking to tackle in the near future. Over the past 2 months on this newscast, you've heard some pretty bad things happen to law enforcement officers. We've covered 2 funerals with a 3rd happening this weekend. But there is comfort and community, even from our neighbors to the north. So the 9 News team of Anastasia Bolton and Ann Herbst drove to Laramie super early this morning to bring you these words.
Okay, so this is the letter that I wrote. Dear Mrs. Parrish and beautiful daughters.
Dear Parrish mother and
dear
daughters.
Parrish family.
Far away from Douglas County, Colorado.
My heart truly aches for you all.
8th graders in Laramie, Wyoming.
And I attend Laramie Middle School.
Are learning a lesson.
Okay, good. So
that was never a part of their teacher's plan.
I write to you in such sorrow for your loss.
They're all writing letters.
But Zachary was a great person.
Full of support.
But all of us here in Laramie are sending our love and
lots of comfort.
And we are so thankful for him.
And love.
They need the love. I know how it feels. You need the love.
They are sending it to the wife and daughters of Douglas County Deputy Zach Parrish.
Our hearts are broken for you.
Who was shot and killed while on duty on New Year's Eve.
I am very, very sorry for your loss.
I tried to lighten them up, trying to make them feel that their dad was a great person.
It makes you feel really bad, and it gives you that feeling that you need to comfort them somehow.
when it came out that the shooter was from Wyoming and had the connections to Laramie, obviously that hit home really quickly. We wanted to send love from our community, even though this tragic thing happened involving our community.
And thinking of you and your lovely daughters.
Everyone in Laramie gives our best wishes.
I'm very thankful for your husband.
I wanted students to see that even though they don't know the family personally, that they can make an impact in lives. And it's little things.
So they're sending these letters.
I thank him for his service.
To the Parrish family to read when ready.
I hope you will grow strong.
And know their dad mattered to even the kids who didn't know him.
But I want them to look back on these letters and realize what an impact their dad had on the community. Not just in Colorado, but in Wyoming, all across the United States.
Finally, I would like to send my love from Laramie.
My love for your family sent from Laramie.
For Next, I'm Anastasia Bolton.
The Laramie Middle School put together a couple of care packages for the Parrish family. They include those letters you just heard, some cookies, and some stuffed animals. The sheriff's office will be coming back here tomorrow to pick those up. Lying is always bad, and sometimes it's even worse depending who you're trying to fool. Tonight, A guy who's accused of creating bogus signatures for a hotel project is learning what it feels like to face some felonies. Marshall Zellinger has this story.
The Marriott Residence Inn is out of Greenwood Village. The application to build a new hotel on this parking lot has been withdrawn, maybe because of what we told you in December, when the Planning Commission was given a detailed proposal, including these signatures from residents who supposedly supported the project.
It's due diligence. I was just doing my homework and just happened to catch a few of those names that seemed to be out of place.
Libby Barnacle noticed names on this list that had previously reached out to the commission against the hotel proposal.
So then you have no information as to explain line 17, Jeff Kahn signing this piece of paper, when in fact we are in receipt of a letter from him adamantly opposing this project February 13th of this year.
I think in Colombo, wasn't it? Just one more question.
Close.
Just one more thing. Just one more thing. Just one more thing.
I pride myself on knowing the community and knowing the people that I am appointed to represent.
Because of Libby's work, the guy who was hired to collect the signatures, Eric Forney, he's now facing 8 felony charges of attempting to influence a public servant.
The thing that is really unusual is they didn't have to submit any signatures.
That's another bizarre twist Mayor Ron Rakowski points out. The signatures submitted with the proposal were kind of a bonus to convince commissioners like Libby Barnacle that the project had community support.
She has an eye for detail. In fact, you could say she has an eagle eye for detail.
Hopefully this serves as a lesson to applicants in the future that we are an intelligent community and we will catch everything.
I reached out to the signature collector, and as so often happens, he did not return my call. Maybe it's the tone of my voice, I don't know. But I did find out, Jeremy, that he actually did go door to door. The mayor tells me while he was home one day, someone knocked on his door for this project. It was this guy trying to collect signatures. Wow. So there's proof that he actually was trying to do the work. The mayor did not sign the petition because he's the mayor and may have had to have decided on something that no longer is in existence anymore.
It's always good to get Colombo in a story. One quick question, I don't know if you know this, the signature collector, was he getting paid to collect signatures for a certain amount of signatures he was supposed to collect?
What I've learned across the signature universe is that you don't necessarily get paid a bonus to collect so much, but he was hired to at least collect some, and we'll see if he really did or not. It looks like he did.
Motivation there. Now he's facing felonies. Thanks a lot, Marshall. A few months ago, I read something on my newsfeed that was pretty surprising. A newspaper article about a long-forgotten border dispute between Colorado and New Mexico. Back in the 1930s, Colorado's governor decided to institute martial law on the state's southern border. According to the article in the Santa Fe New Mexican, the governor ordered the National Guard to stop poor people from crossing into the state. New Mexicans who were just looking for work were turned away. Tonight, I've got a TV version of this incident, and what I found in state archives and in old newspaper reports is strangely familiar to what's being said in the media today.
It was an insult to New Mexico. It was a political ploy on the part of the governor of Colorado, Edwin Johnson, who was thinking of running for the Senate.
Tonight, we find some really old documents and old photos from that time period. We ask, what did we or didn't we learn from this dispute? You can catch my story tonight on 9 News after the Olympic Games. Very soon, the first coffee shop in Denver may get clearance to serve caffeine and allow cannabis consumption on its property. The name of the joint is called the Coffee Joint. Of course it is. Tomorrow there's a hearing, just like a liquor license hearing or a pot shop hearing. The shop has to prove that they've met a bunch of requirements in the application and that they have the community's support. The hearing officer will then recommend a decision for the city to make in the next 2 weeks or so. The city will then review that recommendation and also look at any objections that were filed against it. Then Denver will decide whether to deny the permit or let the coffee shop proceed to the inspections phase. So here are the rules. If the coffee joint gets cleared, anyone entering that shop would have to be 21 years old. Legally, no one can smoke pot in there because there's no patio, but people can vape and they can eat edibles. And the shop can't actually sell its own marijuana products, so instead of BYOB, it will be BYOP. A producer wrote that. Our next question comes from a viewer named Drew. What's up with that CDOT sign on I-70 about the cannabis conversation? So, the answer to that question is this. The cannabis conversation is this new CDOT campaign. The state wants to learn more about people who are high on pot while they're driving, so they're asking you to take a survey to figure out public perceptions and how often people hit the road after hitting the joint. CDOT also hopes people will become aware so you can still get that you can still get a DUI for driving high. Cops can still arrest people based on observed impairment. They can also check your blood to see how much THC you have in your system, but so far still no marijuana breathalyzer. Denver's South Broadway neighborhood is hoping to show support for the LGBT community. They want rainbow crosswalks. These would be on Broadway near First Avenue. A local city councilor and some businesses are raising money. They need $25,000 by May to get them in time for Pride Fest. It's pretty expensive because the paint is thermoplastic, which means it can handle all of that traffic. And of course, it would be environmentally friendly because, you know, we live here in Colorado. Wow, it was warm today, and maybe we might get some snow on Saturday. If you live here, you know that's normal. Matt Renew is in Korea for the Olympics and has a new segment for us, the most Korea thing we saw today. In a social media post that's pretty popular, what your money gets for a house in Georgia compared to Denver, but is it really true? Next.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin. How about this? Do you need a reason to be thrilled to live in this state? This is the Loveland ski area bracing for more snow. A storm coming in may bring freezing drizzle to Denver tomorrow night and accumulating snow by the weekend. Temperatures today, in spite of the afternoon cloud cover, 60 degrees. We're still 56 now, but it's coming. The cold air, the snow lurking just to the north of us. That front backs in tomorrow afternoon. We'll see a little snow in the high country and then the cold air settling in tomorrow night. Freezing drizzle tomorrow night, so during the day, no travel issues unless you're headed northbound I-25 into Wyoming. And again, 1 to 3 inches of snow possible in Denver starting Saturday morning, the storm winding down Saturday night. The worst part, I think, will be the freezing drizzle and freezing fog late tomorrow night. Dry this evening, though. Windy west, our low at 31. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high 49. Freezing drizzle in the evening, mixing over with snow Saturday morning. 29 will be your high Saturday, 1 to 3 inches of snow. Clearing Sunday, mild Monday, and another chance for snow on Tuesday. Finally, a fun weather pattern to talk about and a great picture from Denise Maslanka. So what's going on in Colorado, Jeremy?
Oh, a whole bunch of things. The Olympics. That's a big story. Thank you, Kathy. We know all of you like our segment called The Most Colorado Thing we saw today. That's another thing that's going on today. Well, we have a new idea for you, thanks to 9 News Mountain reporter Matt Renew. It's the most Korean thing we've seen today.
Hey, next, Matt Renew here in South Korea covering the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, and I wanted to show you the most Korean thing that we've seen today. When you're covering the Olympics, you take a lot of buses to get around in between venues and events, and today our driver had a bus unlike any other. This guy had a steering wheel that was bedazzled, a gear shift that equally matched it. He had figurines all over his dashboard. He even had hot tea to serve up on a countertop as you walked in and out of the bus. This bus driver here at the Olympics liked to do things his own way. He's unique, he's his own guy, and he likes to do things the way he likes to do things. I'm 9 News Mountain News reporter Matt Renew in South Korea, and that was the most South Korean thing we've seen today.
We told you about a plan to bring in more affordable housing in the Rhino neighborhood. Sounds great, right? Nope, not everybody is happy about it. A Facebook post that's been shared more than 6,500 times. A house in Georgia and a house in Denver. Are they equal in price? We check it out. And Chiba Hut makes a statement with its sign. Yeah, we're going there. Next. And welcome back. Okay, not so fast here. A group of people in Denver's Rhino neighborhood say they don't like a new plan that could mean taller buildings in exchange for more affordable housing. We told you about this proposal yesterday. They fear it's just a move to gentrify another part of Denver. We talked to Candy Tabaka today. She lives north of the area in that proposal. Important to note here, she plans to run for city council against Council President Albus Brooks, who proposed this zoning change. Tabaka says the affordable housing part of this proposal is an afterthought. And she says this kind of blanket zoning, looping a whole area together, is not the way the city should do its business.
We need to be more careful about the changes that we're making and taking the unintended consequences into consideration. So right now, blankets don't make sense for us, and every property should go through the changes individually.
And we also talked to Denver City Councilman Rafael Espinosa, who said he has his concerns about this proposal. He worries the blanket zoning will be an invitation to try and push out current businesses in the area.
It creates pressure when you have this level of reinvestment in an area to move existing businesses, move existing residents out.
The council will vote on this proposal on Monday. It's expected to be a crowded public hearing. If approved, the mayor is expected to sign it, and it would be effective immediately. There is a post going around on social media that compares two homes and their prices. One house is in South Georgia, Statesboro to be exact, and the other is in Denver, near Alameda and Sheridan. And you guessed it, you get a whole lot more house for your money in southern Georgia compared to Denver. But we figured this whole social media post needed a bit more context. Here's the post that's been shared more than 6,500 times. This is what $350,000 will buy you in a beautiful small town in South Georgia. And this is what $350,000 will buy you in Denver. Seriously. Okay, hold on. We need some more info. The house in Statesboro, Georgia is listed as a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, 3,367 square feet. The property is just under 2 acres. It was built in 1961. This one's on the market for $329,000. It's been on the market since September, according to the real estate agent there named Bubba Hunt. Yes, that's his name. Awesome. The home in Denver is a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. It's 1,600 square feet. The property is small, only 0.14 acres, built in 1955. The listing price on that one was $310,000. It was only on the market for 4 days before it was under contract. A realtor told us today this house in the $300,000 to $400,000 range was the most active price range in the Denver market in the past month. So there's a $19,000 difference, but there's also a huge difference in size too, and in acreage. And the Denver home was under contract in 4 days. The home in Georgia has been on the market for 5 months. Well, there you go. That play, I love that southern music there. 2 different towns, 2 different houses. The median sales price for a home in Denver right now is $435,000. The median sales price for a home there in Georgia, in Statesboro, is $150,000. And that town's population, 31,000. Pretty small compared to Denver. A sign that really just shows one business trolling another business in Denver. And that's your feedback coming up next. It's a sign, 2 of them on Colfax in Denver near Washington. The big billboard in the background is advertising members-only egg pricing, just under $2 for free-range eggs at Natural Grocers. In the foreground, you see Chiba Hut sign, 100% free-range nugs. Good for you. Of course, this is not a pot shop, but a marijuana-themed sandwich joint. Nugs are Chiba Hut's smallest sandwich. Remember, Next is back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I'll see you then.